Hey there everyone, how you doing? This is a very interesting topic and I think it really bodes well for the future of Xbox. So I know a lot of you guys are going to want to pay attention to this video and kind of give your feedback as well. I'm going to give my take on it because I think it's very interesting to say the least, and it could lead to some future interesting topics of discussion if you're an Xbox fan or maybe even a PlayStation fan or a gamer in general. Let's just get down to it, because at the end of the day, basically how gaming has changed recently is very indicative of what's going to happen in the future. I mean, I can't imagine, where Microsoft or Sony are keeping games. I think Sony will probably keep some games in general, for a little while anyway. But I think, Microsoft for sure is going to 100% just put their games everywhere they can as soon as they can. So, it's going to be an interesting type of situation, to say the least. But, I want to get into this because it should be a fairly interesting video. What's up? I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you guys for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel. It means a lot to me personally if you guys could do that. It's just one of those things where I try to be fun yet informative, and I give the best that I can give on the channel. So if you guys are looking for daily content, look no further. I'm the guy, and I really have a good time doing this stuff, so hopefully that comes through to you all. So with that being said, look, I like Helldivers 2, fantastic game, and it looks like Helldivers 2 has landed on the top spot on the Xbox store. Could that mean that, more games from PlayStation are coming? It could be, Obviously, PlayStation and Xbox have been playing pretty nice this summer, and the latest sales milestone might be a good indicator for what could happen next. PlayStation and Xbox are cozying up more than ever, and this latest sales milestone suggests that it may even go further. Over the past couple of years, Xbox has been quite controversially putting its flagship titles on the PlayStation consoles, which could lead to the Xbox, basically the hardware death of that. Why buy an Xbox if it doesn't have exclusive games? Is Microsoft intentionally winding down the Xbox hardware? Fast forward a couple years, and it seems those fears were, somewhat, I think, founded and somewhat unfounded. Obviously the sales have continued to drop for the console. They do say they have more console players than ever, but I think that what they're counting is Xbox One players as well as Series X and S players, because that would be quite a bit. There was almost 60 million Xbox One sold, and you probably have a large amount of those people still playing stuff like Fortnite on there, Minecraft, whatever the case may be. They haven't really found the need to upgrade. And then you have 28, 29 million Series X and S users. So that's probably where that really kind of comes from. PlayStation set up and noticed Microsoft doing this. It seems gamers are content to simply stay where they are for the most part and identify with service games more and more as the audience for cinematic single-player titles matures and remains largely static. To that end, PlayStation began following Xbox on putting its games onto Steam, and now has even begun putting its games onto Xbox directly. Helldivers 2 was the first PlayStation publishing title to hit Xbox, and its performance will likely inform Sony on how to proceed. Early signs for Helldivers 2 are looking incredibly promising on Xbox as it hits the #1 spot for Xbox sales charts. It's a co-op shooter with a Starship Troopers vibe, which it really is. Basically Starship Troopers. Players drop into a chaotic war zone in squads of 4 and complete dynamic objectives against a variety of threats. Helldivers 2 does share some DNA with the likes of Halo, particularly ODST, whose sci-fi hunting alien vibes at least superficially intersect with Helldivers. Microsoft and PlayStation clearly capitalized this with Halo-inspired DLC pack for the game to celebrate the partnership, but whether or not Xbox fans will get more games remains kind of up in the air. Naturally, if Helldivers 2 had been a total flop on Xbox, it would have been fair to assume PlayStation would have moved kind of ahead, wouldn't move ahead with more. But it certainly seems like Helldivers 2 has been, a lucrative outing so far. Again, though, I wouldn't necessarily count that as one way or the other, because if you look at it, the original 4 games that Microsoft put on PlayStation, 3 of the 4 didn't sell anything. It's like Grounded, Pentiment, and Hi-Fi Rush. They didn't sell well at all on PlayStation. You had Sea of Thieves do okay, but a lot of the games, more games than not, have completely not sold worth a darn on the PlayStation. So The Xbox dashboard and website ranks the top free and top paid games on the console, which we kind of all know. That's how they kind of do things. And according to this, Helldivers 2 landed on the United States #1 spot, beating out the likes of NBA 2K6, Madden, Black Myth Wukong, Minecraft, Helldivers 2, obviously, and its Super Citizen Edition both have listings high on the charts and in various other Xbox territories, including the United Kingdom. It's always likely that Helldivers 2 would over-index, beating average Xbox attach rates potentially. Xbox has long storied tradition of delivering shooters from Halo to Gears of War, and this looks like Xbox gamers kind of flock to it. Microsoft has, of course, put Gears of War on the PlayStation as well this summer, as well as various other titles, including Indiana Jones and Forza Horizon. The sales boom of Xbox titles on PlayStation helped Microsoft achieve some significant growth, but if you look at it, it's really mostly thanks to like Call of Duty. Sony could potentially make a lot of money porting older games to Xbox, maybe without harming PlayStation. Their back catalog has some great games over the past couple of generations, and it's pretty clear that they've sold all they could possibly sell on existing platforms like PlayStation and PC. With gamers habitually more comfortable than ever to simply stay where they are, Sony is undoubtedly exploring ways it could extract value out of the passionate and stubborn Xbox console base. It might be smaller overall than Nintendo or Steam and PlayStation, but Xbox users are pretty engaged, especially I think with the I don't know, I don't want to say for sure, but if you have almost 30 million players on your current platform, and it looks like 600,000 to a million maybe bought Helldivers, I mean, that's a significant kind of amount of thing, and I think the price played a lot into that as well. I don't think, I'm not trying to dog Xbox gamers, but it does seem, in my opinion, a lot don't buy games, especially like full price, $70, $80 games. So we'll see. Stuff like Days Gone, Returnal, The Last of Us could possibly sell pretty well on Xbox, and I mean, listen, they've already kind of squeezed every penny out of Last of Us on PlayStation and PC, right? Last of Us Remake, Last of Us Remaster, Last of Us the full story, Last of Us this, right? So it's like you could probably get a million or two sold on Xbox for sure. Would moving Spider-Man and God of War even hurt PlayStation at this point? Probably not, with the vast majority of playtime hours being devoured by titles like Fortnite and Roblox. The addressable audience for these types of cinematic experiences seems to be diminished by and large, with competition for free time more aggressive than ever. Cutting through the noise with the biggest multi-platform launch pod possible seems like given the best chance for success. Sony has been signaling to investors for some time that it wants to move away from PlayStation hardware centricity. Microsoft is undoubtedly gearing up to put Halo itself on the PlayStation in the near future. Is PlayStation hurting itself by continuing to hold back? It's really hard to say, because PlayStation right now, believe it or not, is the PS5 is their most successful money-making platform that they've ever had. That's the most profitable. So it's realistically kind of hard to say what's going to really happen, and the future, kind of where it lies. I think you have to be careful, right? You don't want to, I think PlayStation will probably put some older stuff on Xbox at some point, but I don't think they're going to get to a point where they're going to put the next God of War day and date on Xbox. Whereas I think Xbox is going to definitely do Gears of War day and date on PlayStation. So these are the types of things that you have to kind of look at in terms of viability. And so yeah, I do think that we don't know exactly how this stuff is going to hurt Xbox long term, but obviously the sales of the consoles themselves have been hurt anyway. So we'll see what happens. I just really think that we live in a kind of a strange world, and there's kind of rumors anyway that the next Xbox might support third-party stores like Steam. Maybe PlayStation would just cut out the middleman and cut a better deal with Xbox directly. But again, if the next Xbox does have Steam, that's just basically means it's a PC. So we'll see kind of what happens there. But again, nice to see that Helldivers 2 is there. I think it definitely signals that if Sony wants to do service-based games, that they can definitely probably put them on Xbox and have a little bit of success there anyway. But I don't know. know. What do you guys think? Have you guys played Helldivers 2? It's a good game, man. And listen, like, I'm an Xbox guy. I had this game on PlayStation. I bought it on Xbox. I feel more comfortable playing stuff on Xbox, especially multiplayer stuff. So really, it kind of just comes down to what you're interested in, where you want to play. So I can see where they're coming from. I'm going to link this in the description so you guys can check it out. Let me know what you think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.